190 runs, which came at just about an average of 23. That's not how you thought the BGT would pan out for Virat Kohli. But we're here to take a deep dive and look at the nature of those dismissals and how, and it's for a reason that we say that the Australians had a trap for Virat Kohli in which he fell. How is it that the Australians went about their business? We've got some numbers to present to you which tell the complete story. By now, if you're a cricket fan, you would know one thing for sure, and that is that all 8 dismissals of Virat Kohli were identical. All of them happening outside the off stump. However, there was just the one time that the ball was bowled fuller to him. Otherwise, all the 7 dismissals of Virat Kohli, there was a pattern to all 7 dismissals. At the outset, you would think, at a macro level, perhaps you would think that the bigger picture is that they were all deliveries outside the off stump. But hang on to that thought, because we're going to be throwing more light and giving you a little more insight. And how is it that Australia went about their business and came prepared for Virat Kohli? They had figured out that there's a weakness of Virat Kohli and they targeted him over there. But before we do that, I want to show you something about Virat Kohli, which is also something that the Australians knew and didn't want Virat Kohli to excel in this BGT. And this is the kind of study that they had done. Now, this is Virat Kohli's career graph. This is the wagon wheel for Virat Kohli throughout his test career, and these are his scoring zones. You see, there's one thing that stands out over here. In front of square is where Virat Kohli scores most of his test runs. Behind square, you see only 16% and just about 19% runs over there. But look at in front of square how many runs Virat Kohli scored. On the offside, if you see, he scored. In fact, I am referring to the area between just straight down the wicket, and if you see the point, just about 30% runs over there. And you see on the onside, from deep backward square from deep backward square to down the wicket, if you see straight down, 33% of runs being scored by Virat Kohli over there. So clearly there's one pattern to Virat Kohli's runs, that he likes scoring them in the V and in front of square. Now this is something that the Australians knew, and they didn't want Virat Kohli to get these deliveries. Now what is it that they did? While Virat Kohli was caught trying to play the ball through the covers, there was a reason to that as well, because there weren't too many deliveries that Virat Kohli got on the leg side. So since he wasn't allowed room on the leg side to flick his wrist, score runs on the onside, he had to go for the balls that were pitched outside, and they kept troubling him over there, especially with one particular ball, and that's the balls that were pitching at a particular line and length. And what was that line and length? Well, it was just around the length area and back of length area. Now that's how well Australia came prepared for Virat Kohli. Look at the percentages over here. This bar graph shows you the percentage of balls that the Indian batters faced which were pitched at the length and back of the length area outside the off stump. There you see, besides Rohit Sharma, it is only Virat Kohli who got the maximum percentage of balls that were pitched on the length or back of length. To be precise, 72.5% of the deliveries that Virat Kohli faced were length or back of a length deliveries. Now, as I said, Virat wasn't getting enough room to play on the leg side. So what was happening as a result? Virat, or facing fuller delivery, he was tempted to play on the offside. They made sure that Virat Kohli plays on in this particular region, because the other strong region that Virat Kohli has is on the onside. They weren't giving him enough balls over there. So what did Virat Kohli have to do? He was getting all those balls outside the offside, and he had to prod at them. He couldn't resist after a point, as we saw. Played well at times, got into the zone. However, that's exactly what they wanted. Scott Boland pointed that out. The idea was to give him time at times. The moment that he thought that he had gotten into the zone, you start pitching back of a length outside the off or just around the length area, and Virat would nick it. That's exactly what happened in the last test match as well. But we want to go a step further and tell you a little more things about how this back of a length area is something that Australians kept in mind. Look at this. Out of the 396 deliveries that Virat Kohli faced, 72.47%, which roughly translates to what? 287 deliveries that Virat Kohli faced were all back of a length or the length area. That's where Virat Kohli faced most of the deliveries, and I told you why exactly is it that Virat Kohli got the balls in that area. Let's move forward. Now, the Aussie bowlers didn't allow Kohli to score on the leg side, as I just pointed out as well, because that's where. In fact, I will just go a step back and show you exactly why is it, in case you missed it. 32.6% of his runs come over here. In fact, take a look at the number on the bottom of the screens as well. 3,957 runs that Virat Kohli scored. Of the 9,000 odd runs that he scored have been through the covers and mid-wicket area. Now, the idea was very, very clear in this case. You don't let him score through the mid-on area or the mid-wicket area for that matter. Let him score through the covers. Tempt him to go over there because that is his second preferred area to score runs. And what happened? The moment that Virat Kohli, now you see the full length deliveries that Virat Kohli got were just about 10% of the deliveries. Otherwise, predominantly he was being made to play on the offside. 38 full length deliveries that he got, and what did Virat Kohli do over there? He scored 59 runs in those 38 deliveries. That's how. Now 59 of the 190 runs that Virat Kohli scored were from full length deliveries, and he was actually, you look at the strike rate much better when he got fuller length deliveries. But the Aussies were sure of what the plan was. So the moment Virat got a little bit of confidence, if he got a few balls that was sprinkled around the full length area, he thought that he was getting into his groove. The length would be pulled back. It would be pulled back either in the good length area or just back of a length, and Virat would then prod at it and get caught either in the slip cordon or by wicketkeeper Alex Carey. And on this particular tour, the covers and the mid-wicket areas yielded 50 runs of the 190 runs for Virat Kohli. Now you see how much he likes playing in the cover. Now once that area was closed for Virat Kohli on the onside through the mid-wicket, he had no option but to play through the covers. It's an area that, as I showed you as well, he's played a lot and scored a lot of runs in. And once that channel was closed for Virat Kohli, he had no option but to score runs through the offside. But the length was the key here for Virat Kohli, and this is what Australian bowlers had really mastered and had done their homework as well. Not just for Virat Kohli, I would say the homework was done for each and every batter. There was traps set, but the one man who kept falling in the same trap again and again and again was Virat Kohli. Something he'll not be proud of, because all 8 dismissals extremely identical. Scott Boland, in fact, his nemesis, out of his 8 dismissals, 4 of them were to Scott Boland. So clearly this will be something, this will be a tour for Virat Kohli to forget. But I'll end by saying exactly how I started this video, that the Australians had a trap for Virat Kohli and unfortunately he fell in it.